Jeff, do you feel pretty good coming in? I mean, playing an FCS school, just sort of give us an idea of what you're looking from your team bouncing back from last Thursday night.
Well, every week's important. I do think we had a rough start to the week. A lot of guys weren't real happy with the outcome, and that's good. We want that. I think we've gotten better as the week's gone on. Our guys understand college football. You've got to show up every week ready to play. We've got a lot of things to work on. We'd like to see improvement in all those areas across the board. We'd like to play hard, physical football for 4 quarters, and I think it's important that all of our guys understand that's what it's going to take to win.
You feel like you've addressed like the tackling issue, and probably don't know for sure about penalties, but you feel like those have been emphasized this week to plant the seed?
Yeah, we've had a couple extra days to emphasize that. That's probably why people weren't happy at the beginning of the week, but you know, they were unfortunate. We've got to clean those things up. Tackling is always important, and the few that you miss are going to be the ones that people remember. So we've got to swarm to the ball. We've got to use our arms and wrap up and take to the ground. And everybody's got to finish through the whistle. So that's going to be important, I think, on offense. Cleaning up penalties and just some silly things, missing alignments, some things like that, you know, we've got to get better at. And then, of course, taking care of the football, being efficient in both the running game and passing game is going to be very important to improve on that.
What does he want to see from Aiden?
Well, I think Aiden, you know, has worked really hard this offseason. We got a good, tough opponent the first week, and we were not able to pull it out, and he threw the ball a lot. I think we've got to make sure that, you know, we're doing things that are keeping us in check. You know, being accurate with the football is important. I think, like I said earlier, you know, he kind of, you know, threw the ball early at times, 4 or 5 times. There were probably 4 or 5 throws you'd like to stand in the pocket and not throw off your back foot, which sometimes happens when you throw a lot and there's getting a little pressure. So I just think, you know, having a firm, strong base, following through on every throw, trusting the protection, allowing the receivers to get open when it is press coverage, are the small things he needs to improve upon. You know, to throw the ball that many times with no interceptions was good. He did a good job of keeping 2 hands on in the pocket, but I do think there's a lot of things, a lot of small things that he can do better.
How much do you anticipate, not maybe Saturday, but throughout the year, using a fullback? You had Ben out there for a play on last week, but is that something that you want to sprinkle in a little bit, or how do you see that playing out this year?
Well, I think anything to generate rushing yards and to improve in situational conditions like, you know, short yardage and goal line is going to be important. So whether it's a fullback, whether it's an extra tackle at tight end, whether it's 2 extra tackles in the game in those scenarios, we want to make sure that, you know, everything creative is on the table. So, you know, that's something that we always look at, and it hasn't been our strength in the past, and we got to find ways to make it a strength.
During camp, when you had to do the 2 scrimmages, you were kind of critical of the performance in the red zone, being able to run the ball in the red zone. That was an issue last year, but Thursday you were successful. What changed, or what you guys do differently maybe you didn't do in the scrimmages to get those touchdowns?
Well, I wish I had all the answers and we could score all the time. We did improve in those small categories for game 1, which was good to see. We just couldn't pull out the win. We were a little bit deficient in some other things. So I think consistency across the board, without question, touchdowns in the red zone is very important. So you have to have the right mix of aggressive, but yet the right mix of running the football, which we were able to do. We had 2 rushing touchdowns in that area. You know, not settling for field goals. We've been pretty good in that turnover in that area, but we just settled for too many field goals. And then situationally, you know, the 3rd and short stuff, you know, we were okay. We converted a couple of fourth downs. But, you know, those are always the tough yards that we have to have a plan for, and we have to execute each and every week.
And do you foresee, like, I noticed late in the game, your offensive line, you had Moose out there, left tackle, crunch time with Miller on the right side. You foresee maybe that being a look at your tackles moving forward?
Well, I think Musa has athleticism. He's been able to play tackle and tight end for us in some running situations. Eric Miller has more experience. He's not quite the athlete, and you know, there are a couple times you know, we need somebody there with a little bit quicker feet so they can get in front of guys and block. Cam Craig is working the other tackle position. You know, he has a back issue. We can't play in the entire game. We got to rotate guys in there. Daniel Johnson has come on and done some good things. So, there's some positives, and at the same time, there are going to have to be able to play at least some guys more than one position because we may have to move them around. But, they work hard. They got better. Really, not to the very end did we even get close to a sack. One was pressure off the edge, and the other was, I think, the last Hail Mary play. So I thought they did a pretty good job overall. And so we just got to continue to work that. And like I said, trying to, figure out ways to, keep a semblance of balance, but also score points and take advantage of that and do what we do best is going to be important.
Will you be pretty healthy on Saturdays? Brock going to be okay among others?
Brock will be a game time decision. Joe Anderson, a game time decision. Elijah Canyon will be out.
How athletic is Marcus Mebao? Because King was talking the other day. He's a pretty athletic basketball player, and what have you seen from him just from an athletic standpoint?
Well, we knew that going in. He was a good basketball player in high school, and really that might have been his favorite sport. And he's got good feet. He likes to compete. He likes football. He's getting stronger and stronger. Everything's a little bit new to him, but he stepped in the bowl game and did some good things. This first game, he plays hard. I don't think it was his best performance. He can play better. He knows that. But I think, just for him, concentrating, locking down, being focused on every play and trying to dominate is going to be important. And that's the thing that the mentality aspect he's got to get in his head is the nasty part of playing the offensive line and making sure that comes out when he's on the field.
Is he itching to get the ball when he goes in motion?
He's been told if he can make a few more blocks, we'll definitely give him the ball.
You maybe throw it to him.
There's a couple different things you can do after he gets a few more blocks. You're correct.
Go back to the mid-1980s with the fridge and all that.
I did want to ask, Boilermaker Alliance is going to, fund the football program. Players are going to get something from them. Just what's that mean to have that kind of financial support in this NIL era?
Well, I think our administration doing as good a job as they can to fundraise and use our resources and to make sure that we're doing our part in that field. And that's just part of college football right now. And players work really hard, and we want to do the best job we can to take care of them. So I know as the next couple weeks and months progress, there'll be progress made, and I think we'll be able to do some good things.
And how much does that help in the recruiting area?
Well, it's vital. We've got to make sure that we're committed to having a winning football team and committing to take care of our players and using our resources in the right way. And I think our administration will do that.
You like the 12-team playoff, Jeff? Is that good for a school like Purdue?
I think, even from day one, expanding from 4 to more is a good idea. There's just so many people that love college football, and there's going to be 3 to 6 really dominant teams every year, and maybe 3 that are really dominant that will probably be in the mix. But to spread things out and give some other teams some opportunities in crunch time will make the game really exciting. I know viewers will love it, and it'll be something new. And right now, college football, everybody loves it in general, and they can't wait for fall to start and for games to begin and all the excitement to happen. But when you get to that format, without question, it'll be a huge hit.